Hey everyone, welcome back to another Disney and Pixar ranking video. This time I'll be ranking 7 movies from 2015 to 2018. Let's get straight into the movies. Really? We're starting like this? The Good Dinosaur follows a young dinosaur named Arlo who is fearful and uncertain. After a storm separates him from his family, he embarks on a journey to find them, meeting a wild human boy named Spot along the way. Through their adventures, Arlo learns about courage, friendship, and overcoming his fears, ultimately discovering his own strength and place in the world. Okay, so the story here sucks. I know I've been saying this a lot, but it's just so boring. I don't care about the concept nor the prehistoric setting. Like, did we really need another dinosaur movie? In addition to being boring, it's just also forgettable. Another minus of the film is its characters. Gotta be honest, I don't care about any of the characters here. Arlo is just a fucking coward, like it isn't even funny. I also don't get why he acts like a jerk towards Spot. Like, sure, he steals food from Arlo's family in the beginning, but he's not the reason behind Arlo's dad dying. Also, Arlo's dad dies in this movie after trying to stop the human from stealing food. Compared to Mufasa's death, this one just felt predictable, and the whole reason he even dies is because of his son being scared of everything. Even if he improves by the end, I just don't care about any characters here. Humor in this movie is also poor. There was only one scene I laughed at, and it was the mushroom scene. All the other jokes just weren't for my liking. The music in this movie is fine, nothing too notable, but it ain't bad. Lastly, I guess I could mention the animation. It's amazing here, the only major plus honestly. I enjoyed the prehistoric landscapes and I admire how they made some specific scenes like the one with fireflies. The designs of the main characters aren't as good, but I don't think they're bad. Still though, I can't call a movie good just because of the visuals. Overall, The Good Dinosaur is a bad movie. It's not horrible, but it definitely felt like one of the worst Pixar movies yet. I'll put it under Fantasia 2000. A rookie rabbit police officer, Judy Hopps, dreams of making the world a better place. She partners with a con artist fox named Nick Wilde to solve a mystery involving disappearing predator animals. As they delve into the case, they uncover a conspiracy that threatens the harmony of their diversity. Through their adventures, Judy and Nick learn to overcome prejudice and stereotypes, ultimately proving that anyone can be a hero, regardless of their background. Firstly, I like to say that the movie's concept is really cool. Making a world where all animals coexist is a very neat idea. I think the reason the story is so good is because it can be connected to the real world. I feel like a lot of people can relate to Judy because of her personality and position. She starts with a dream and follows it till the end. She's probably my second favorite character here. My favorite though is definitely Nick. He's very charismatic and intelligent. I love his interactions with Judy. I also adore his backstory of being treated like trash due to being a predator. Other characters are nice too. There are some funny side characters like the leopard and the sloth. The humor in this movie is without a doubt great. There are a lot of hilarious scenes. Again, the funniest one is definitely the sloth scene because I just love how they chose sloths for a job that has to be done quickly. What makes it funnier is that Sloth's name is literally Flash. I admire how there are several references to the media like Godfather, Breaking Bad, Shakira and more. Also, speaking of Shakira, the song she sings here is great. It sounds really good and has a good message. I will say though, I think the movie's main lesson is about challenging stereotypes and working together. The whole concept of predators being seen as a threat in modern society is a very clever idea, and it has a great resolution. The villain of this movie was also nice, not one of my favorites, but I love the reveal of her setting everything up to make predators look bad. Lastly, I love the animation here. The way Zootopia was constructed to suit all types of animals is very creative and enjoyable. I love the simple designs for all the animals and how they drew the savage versions for some predators. Overall, Zootopia is one of the best modern Disney movies, has a unique concept with nice characters and a great lesson. I'll put it above WALL-E but under Aladdin. Oh god, this one will be difficult to review. After accidentally recalling memories of her parents, Dory travels to California's Marine Life Institute, joined by her friends Marlin and Nemo. Throughout their adventure, Dory faces various challenges, but ultimately learns the importance of perseverance and the power of memory. Okay, so the reason I feel mixed about reviewing this is because Finding Nemo is one of my favorite movies made by Pixar. Naturally, I'd expect this to be a good movie, but sadly it's not. Firstly, the story here definitely isn't bad. I think it was a good idea to go further into Dory's character. Obviously the first movie's story was better because it was more plain and appealing, but this one's decent. However, the real problem occurs with the characters. Like with Cars 2, making a side character the main protagonist wasn't really the best idea. Dory's a funny character, but here she's just annoying. Her jokes aren't funny and some of her scenes are annoying. The new characters that the main trio meets aren't nice either. Some of them have funny moments, but overall they're not close to the first movie's characters. The only new character I didn't dislike is Hank, because he had some sort of screen time. Also, I definitely liked Marvin and Nemo, but sadly they didn't get as much attention as Dory. Anyway, I mentioned the humor and honestly it's not good. Not to say it's awful, there are a few good jokes, but the original movie was way funnier to view. One thing I'll give to this movie is the animation. I love how there are more scenes outside the ocean, which helps to widen the number of locations. And the scenes in the ocean still look amazing. I admire some new locations like Dory's house. Last and arguably the worst part of the movie is the structureless ending. Like, think about it, it would make sense if the movie ended with Dory finding her parents. However, here she finds them when there's like 30 minutes left till the movie's ending, and to make it worse, the film keeps going with the whole segment of first saving Marlin, Nemo, and all of her other friends. It's just too slow and merry. I could have liked this way more if the ending wasn't generic. Overall, Finding Dory is really mediocre. I get why people hate this movie, but I thought it had some pluses, so it's not that bad, just disappointing. I'll put it above Cars 2. Geez, 3 movies in 1 year? I don't think that ever happened before. Anyway, a spirited young girl from the island of Matanui named Moana sets out on a daring journey to save her people from environmental decay. Guided by the ocean, she seeks the demigod Maui to restore the heart of an entity named Tefiti, which she stole. As Moana faces challenges and discovers her own identity, she learns about courage, leadership, and the importance of cultural heritage. Going into this one, I thought I'd dislike it. The story felt like it would be really boring. However, I think the reason I liked the story is because it paid more attention to the main aspect, which was saving the island by bringing back the heart of Tefiti. It's kind of an adventurous story that I definitely enjoyed. As for the characters, my favorites are Moana and Maui. I like Moana's perseverance to save her people, and Maui's development from a bad guy to a hero. I also thought the scene with Moana's grandma dying was kinda sad, but seeing her as a spirit later was cool. The other characters ain't great. Tamatoa is funny, but his scene takes up too much time, even though the visuals look sick, and I'm not a fan of the animal side characters. Yeah, the only characters I really liked were Moana and Maui. As for the movie's humor, it's pretty good. There are several funny jokes here that I laughed at, especially due to the main duo's chemistry. By the way, the movie's songs are amazing, probably my favorite part. The best ones are You're Welcome, How Far I'll Go, and Shiny. Lastly, the animation here is magnificent. Not only do I think the human designs look charming, but they also did an awesome job animating the entities like Tefiti and Tekka. In addition, I love how they drew certain elements like the ocean, lava, flowers, Maui's tattoos, etc. I adore the colors they used for certain parts of this movie, like the color of green for Tefiti's heart. Honestly, the entire final battle was animated greatly. Overall, Moana is a great movie. With a few minuses, I'll put it above Frozen, but under Lilo and Stitch. Out of all the Cars movies, this is the one I was most hyped to see. Lightning McQueen faces the challenges of a new generation of high-tech racers. After a devastating crash, he struggles with self-doubt and the fear of being obsolete. With the help of his trainer Cruz Ramirez, he learns to adapt and embrace new techniques while honoring his racing legacy. Okay, this is definitely the most serious Cars movie. It literally starts with Lightning losing to Jackson Smith and later crashing while trying to win. The story here is amazing and might be one of my favorite parts. I love how instead of changing the formula like the second movie, it focuses on racing and how McQueen realizes that he's too old for racing. I can't describe all of it in this video, but basically he tries his best to win against Jackson, but eventually realizes that he can't. Instead of him winning, he takes the car called Cruz to be his apprentice. At first I didn't like her because she was kinda annoying, but the more I learned about her past, the more I liked her. I honestly really like how this movie has lots of references to previous movies. Some old characters appeared here like Chick and Doc. Speaking of Doc, I'm happy that this movie actually focused on his character a lot. Like, the movie ended with Lightning getting painted as Doc. That's something Cars 2 should have done. Pay respect to a dead character. Apart from that, just as I mentioned, this movie has a lot of serious scenes that I appreciate. As for the humor, it's actually good in this movie. Some jokes aren't good, but a lot of them are thanks to Mater and Italian Cars. Also, thank God Mater didn't appear as much in this movie. By the way, never mentioned this, but the Cars franchise doesn't have songs. That's why I don't talk about that aspect. Lastly, the animation is marvelous. The designs for new cars are really cool and I love various racing scenes. Overall, there are some slight minuses here. I didn't mention this, but the movie ends with both Lightning and Cruz winning, which was kinda dumb. Despite that, I still stand by Cars 3 being great. It did everything Cars 2 should have done, and I actually wouldn't mind Cars 4, since the story isn't fully complete yet. I'll place it above Lilo and Stitch, but under Toy Story 3. In Coco, Miguel Rivera dreams of becoming a musician despite his family's ban on music. On Dia de los Muertos, he accidentally finds himself in the land of the dead, where he seeks the blessing of his great-great-grandfather, a legendary musician. Along the way, he meets charming trickster Hector, and together they uncover family secrets and the importance of remembrance. Ultimately, Miguel learns about the significance of family, tradition, and pursuing his passion while honoring his ancestors. Okay, so I'ma say this now. Coco is my favorite modern Disney movie. The story is fantastic. I absolutely adore the theme of Dia de los Muertos and the concept of Miguel traveling to the land of the dead. The film demonstrates the Mexican holiday and culture in a really good way. Aside from that, it's just really captivating to watch Miguel and his dream develop. I also really respect the message of remembering the ones that passed away. Even if the person you loved is no longer with you, the memories are what will always keep them alive. The movie also has great characters. My favorite is without a doubt Hector. The whole twist of him being Miguel's actual great-great-grandfather was immaculate. It genuinely shocked me. And since I brought up the twist, I can't go without mentioning the villain, Ernesto de la Cruz. I honestly think he's a fantastic villain, and I loved how ironic his death was. As I said, the twist was already great, and what made it even better was seeing how Ernesto poisoned Hector. It was foreshadowed before, but seeing it actually occur was amazing. So as a whole, this movie has one of my favorite plot twists. The animation in this movie is just superb. I like the human designs they gave for Miguel and his family. By the way, all the skeleton designs probably took a lot of time to make. The settings of this movie are very creative and nice, like the land of the dead. The colors look really pleasant and the lighting is honestly my favorite part. I also wanted to add that this movie has nice humor. Obviously it has a lot of serious moments, but there are some nice jokes, specifically when Miguel reaches the land of the dead. Lastly, I want to mention the songs in this movie. They are fucking gorgeous. I don't think I disliked any song here. Poco Loco, Lorona, Proud Corazon, and so many more. My favorite is undoubtedly Remember Me. It's wild how different the versions Ernesto and Hector sing are. The scene where Miguel sings the song to Coco still makes me cry a lot. Overall, Coco is a masterpiece that all of you should watch. The story, the characters, the themes, the animation, the songs, the whole movie is immaculate. I'll place Coco above The Lion King. We're ending the section with another unwanted sequel. The movie starts exactly where the first one left off, with the Parr family fighting the Underminer. As superheroes remain illegal, Helen is recruited for a campaign to bring them back, while Bob stays home to care for their kids, Dash, Violet, and Jack Jack. Helen battles the new villain Screenslaver, who manipulates people through technology, while Bob navigates parenting challenges. Ultimately, the family unites to confront the villain. The story here is just mediocre at best. I don't really care about superheroes being illegal because the first movie already did that, and that's why I got kinda tired of it here. Plus, I wasn't the biggest fan of Bob looking after his kids. Like I said in the first movie, I don't like all the family arguing moments. Sure, it was pretty funny, but also boring and pitiful. If anything, I cared more about Helen's storyline. As for the characters, I think the main family members are decent. I definitely started liking Bob and Violet more in this one, but I feel like Helen and Dash didn't have that much depth. As for Jack Jack, it was fucking annoying. I don't get why these sequels keep overusing side characters, it doesn't make them funnier. Humor here is just bizarre. I think the only funny characters are Bob, Violet, and Edna. It's also sad how they abandoned a lot of funny side characters from the first movie. And even then, I wish they could have used characters like Frozone and Edna in a better way, cause they were just decent here. As for the villain, she sucks. Her backstory is good, but her actual plan is so stupid. Instead of keeping heroes illegal, she tries to make them legal again and then illegal. What's the fucking point? If there's one thing I enjoyed, it's the animation. The movements and the visuals clearly look way better than the first movie. Only minus is that some characters from the first movie don't look appealing here. It just feels like they aged a lot. I don't know, man. I think Incredibles isn't something that needs several movies. The reason I like the first one so much is because it didn't focus much on family issues and was full of action. I think if each family member got proper screen time, I'd like this movie more. Overall though, it was bad. I was even more disappointed than with Finding Dory. This one's going under the Aristocats. And those are all the movies for this section. Again, I don't know why, but the further we go, the weirder the quality gets. Half of these were amazing, while the other was mediocre or bad. One thing I will say is that it gets consistently harder to rank these movies. I keep thinking where to place each movie and it's just annoying at this point. Thankfully we have only 2 sections left. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see y'all in the next section. Goodbye.